Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host, your friend, your coach of the Leader Without podcast. Today, I have a great guest for you, my good friend, Amanda. We're part of the same multi-authored book with our good friend, Mary Gooden. She's also going to be part of it, of this new book called Sacred Surrender, which is going to go live on this coming Friday, April the 1st. Of course, this episode will go live by mid to end of April. So by the time you listen to it, it's going to be after it. But yes, we're part of the same project. A little bit about her. She's based in Louisiana. She's one of the most happiest, most heart-centered persons I've met in a long time. I really love her tagline, which is, all about, and she is, what she says is that, tagline is, chronically fabulous, lover of people and their stories, all about hugs and smiles and spreading the happy. And if that wasn't enough, she is the founder and creator of a project, Project S.HA.P.E, S.H.A.P.E, which stands for Spreading Happiness Across Planet Earth. So that tells you all what we are dealing with here. Absolutely phenomenal, very heart-centered. So super excited to be here today with you. Welcome to the show, Amanda.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing fantabulous. Very good today. How about you?
Same here. Same here.
All right, beautiful. So, as I told you last time we spoke, the kind of conversation I'd like to have is to look under the hood, so to speak, to see what's in your heart, to have a heart-to-heart conversation, hence the name Leaders with a Heart. Ready?
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to talk about all the beautiful impacts you're having in the world a little bit later. But first, for people who don't know you, as a person, as a human being, who's Amanda?
Who is Amanda? Wow. Man, she is your cheerleader. She loves people, really. I just in your corner. When I meet you, I try to make every encounter the most joyful and meaningful as possible. That's pretty much me.
That's beautiful. We can unpack that in a moment. Now, to start off, I'd like to ask a series of rapid fire questions to further get to know you.
All right.
All right. First of all, tell us, what makes you happy?
Oh, what makes me happy? Beautiful, bright colors. Happy people, laughing, food.
Oh, yes.
Traveling. One day I would love to travel the world.
Oh, yes. That day is coming a lot faster than we can expect because I can feel it in the air, Now, what makes you smile?
What makes me smile? Wow, I love when other people smile. That makes me smile. I love what makes me smile. Oh my goodness. So many things. Beautiful days. A friend that calls me out of the blue. A little note of just someone saying hi. Conversations in the grocery store line. Those things make me smile.
Awesome. Now let's take the happiness factor a couple of notches higher. What makes your soul come alive in a good way?
Oh my goodness. Talking about happiness, expressing my joy and love for life, and getting people on board with that joy and love for life. That's just lights my soul on fire.
Beautiful. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, what makes you sad and angry?
Oh, what makes me sad and angry? When people are not feeling well, illness, heartbreak, poverty, and just when people are having a bad day, it just makes me sad.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. Now, what scares you?
Wow. I think fear of not being able to do the things that I want to do. It's been a long time of chronic illness for me. I've spent 25 years dealing with chronic illness, and I've gone, roller coaster ups and downs. And right now is one of the best years I've had since my whole experience with the chronic illness. And I'm on a roll, the high, going up and up. And I guess the fear of falling back and not being able to do the things that I want.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll talk about that in a moment. All right. Now, what is your number one personal superpower?
Honestly, the main hugs and smiles tagline says it all, because when I can talk to someone or enter a room and give my smile, I create smiles. And when I can give that hug, I create that connection.
Absolutely. Now let me ask you another question about something we both enjoy. Do you like traveling?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
What was your very first trip?
Oh my goodness. That I can remember. Wow. Guess one that sticks to my mind would be, oh man, San Francisco with my mom.
Wow, that's a beautiful place to go as a trip.
Oh yeah, it was right after my first bout of being diagnosed and getting, ill. I had just recovered from the initial, and we decided to go on a trip and to celebrate just that I was feeling better. And San Francisco was the place. And it was such an amazing trip. It really was.
Mhm. What disease was that?
It was, I had several infectious diseases that came together and just wreaked havoc on my immune system. So I had a lot of the mono type symptoms, but it just lasted for a super, super, super long time. And when I was able to walk again, that was one of the things we wanted to experience, because we know San Francisco is a beautiful place to walk around. And we also, I remember it was around Mother's Day. And on Mother's Day, we went and I got my belly pierced. It was awesome.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Okay, wow. Now, let me take you down a different type of traveling down memory line. Go back to when you're a young kid growing up. When we're kids, people around us always ask us, parents, teachers, relatives, so Amanda, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer as a young girl?
I had several answers. I wanted to be a social worker because my nanny was a social worker, and I saw how much she helped people, and I loved that. And I also wanted to be a teacher because of the element of spreading information and just, again, another aspect of helping people.
Some love that. Now, growing up, what was your relationship with school? Did you love school or hate school?
A little bit of both. When I first started out, I absolutely loved it. I was encouraged, the creativity. I was not hindered in my passions or anything like that. Then I had started, at that time, I was in a private school. Then I had shifted to a more, I decided I wanted to go to a Catholic school, to go an all-girls school, because I wanted to have girlfriends, because I never had girlfriends. I always just had more guy friends. So I was like, if I go to a girls' school, then I'll have girlfriends. Well, the strictness of the atmosphere definitely shut down a lot of my creativity and increased my I'm not gonna say dislike, but it just wasn't fun anymore. Learning wasn't fun, and so I kind of had a love-hate relationship with school.
Okay. What was your favorite subject in school?
I loved English and writing,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved um, biology. I was actually going to be a biologist because I absolutely love animals. And my big thing, I wanted to be a vet at a zoo. That was my thing in
Oh,
college. I was going to
yeah.
be a veterinarian at a zoo.
What What was your favorite animal?
Oh, it's my favorite animal. Reptiles. I love lizards
Really? Wow, that's interesting.
and, and
Okay.
sloths. And
Oh,
sloths. Sloths are my favorite too.
oh
And
wow.
they kind of have a little symbolic relationship with me as well. Um, Lizards in their shedding of their skin and growth and that sort of thing, and the sloth reminding you to take it slow and to enjoy life and enjoy every moment.
Absolutely. Now, was there any class or subject you did not like at all?
Oh, yes, chemistry and physics. That's
Really?
probably why I didn't become a biologist. I
What
couldn't
what
finish those last courses.
what was about them you didn't like?
The the rigidity
Oh yeah.
and the numbers. I'm very um when I had gotten sick, I fell far behind in school and kind of had to teach myself algebra, and
Oh yeah.
that that's a tough subject to have to teach yourself, and then everything kind of piles on top of algebra. So
Absolutely.
it was rough and not fun.
I can imagine. I was never into math neither. Absolutely. Now, what was your very first job?
I worked at a nature center.
Oh wow.
I had volunteered there and when I was 12, and I eventually convinced them to create a job for me.
Wow.
And at 15, I started to work as what was called an apprentice naturalist. And they basically would educate the public about the nature and the wildlife of the area of the Louisiana area. And we do hikes and things, camping, um, overnights for like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and um, classes and such. It was lots of fun.
Beautiful. Now, let's move forward from the time you left school to now. How would you describe your path? Would you say it was pretty much straightforward once you're into one lane, smooth sailing all the way, or was it like more turns and twists, like a roller coaster along the way?
Oh, my whole life's been a roller coaster. So yeah,
It's
pretty
almost went
much.
that way, yeah? So tell us about it a little bit.
Okay. So after the working at the nature center, sort of, I had gone to school for a bit, and I was going back and forth with having to resign because of health issues. So that had a lot to do with my
Mhm.
what I did work wise and things. I dabbled in some archaeology, worked
Oh,
at school. Um, I worked at a coffee shop. I worked at an alligator farm.
wow.
Um, and let's see. So, and then when I actually graduated and found a job in the field that I graduated in sociology, I eventually became what was called a support coordinator. And what I did was organized uh, the services that people would need in order for people with developmental disabilities, in order for them to stay in their homes instead of be institutionalized. So I'd meet with the people and find out if they needed 24/7 care, or if they needed ramps or different things in their houses. Just different services that I could find that could help these people stay in their home.
Wonderful. We're going to talk about it in a moment. Now, there's a saying, I'm sure you heard of it, which says, change your story, change your life. And by story, I mean what we tell ourselves on a daily basis in our head. So when you were Amanda, you had to change your story, to change your life. How did you do it? Was it through the help of friends, family, mentors, books, videos? Tell us the process you used to change your story, to change your life.
Wow. Well, I'm going to tell you honestly, my story is constantly changing. So
So when you were
that is
at
all.
your lowest time point in your life, how did you change your story to get yourself out of there and back on track?
I basically realized that because at my lowest point, I was bedridden, could not move at all, needed complete support to travel me anywhere. There were days where I could not even open my eyes. And so, what I would do is I would travel in my head to
Oh,
places that, or, I always had my imagination. So, it granted, it didn't make things go away, but it made things better. I also had the love and support of my family, amazing caregivers, amazing medical staff, or, healthcare teams, just a lot of, a lot of wonderful people and positivity.
oh yes, especially in those times. You mentioned something that really caught my attention because I'm also like that, is imagination and going in my mind into travels. For me, it was mostly through books and stories. Was it also the case for you as well, through books?
Yes, when I could read, absolutely.
Mhm.
When I could not, it would be more like beautiful fields of flowers, animals that I really wanted to see, places that I had gone before, and I'd bring myself back to. But books, oh, books were amazing, always have been.
So when you mentioned that you were going to these beautiful, places in your mind, how did you do it? Did you with open eyes, or you were just closing your eyes, imagining being there, or some? Because I know some people are just with open eyes. They can be daydreaming. I even find myself more and more nowadays being like this. My eyes are open, but I'm just staring, and I'm completely different place. Was it
It's
like that?
a little bit of both.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the times, like I said, with my eyes, I had to, keep my eyes closed because it was difficult to keep them open. But
Okay.
um, today, definitely, I will be, in the middle of something, and then I stare off, and I'm thinking about or daydreaming about something. And oh yes, definitely. I also have what I guess I call it shiny object syndrome.
Oh yes. Welcome to the
I'll be
club.
I can be like, hey, in a complete conversation, and then I'm like, oh, look, squirrel, or I want ice cream, something
Wow.
random.
So growing up until that point, you mentioned when you're at your lowest point, bedridden, were you more religious or more spiritual?
I've always been more spiritual.
Mhm.
It has shifted more to the spiritual side. I was raised as Catholic, but the idea for me was the religious buffet. I love basically looking at all of the religions and taking the best from each and applying that to my life.
Mhm. Yes, that's a great practice as well. Absolutely. So when you were in your, bedridden and all that, you couldn't move, you couldn't anything else. Would you say that was when and what I'm asking is, did that help you in some ways to hone in or strengthen some of your psychic abilities and some of your was that part of what really allowed your spiritual awakening to take place?
Yeah, I would say that is it's very interesting how all the dots kind of connect, but like my my chosen field and job where I worked professionally towards the end of my professional career was all about helping people with um, mental or physical disabilities and um, with their services and helping them. And that prepared me for my issues, because I could help my mom, who was my mom and dad, who were my primary caregivers. I could be like, okay, this is the kind of things that, I need and we need to look into. And so it was very helpful that way. And so, and then also then going into my experience with the actual experiencing the pain and the physical pain, the emotional pain and everything. And I guess the loss of my normal normal life, if you will, with activity and everything, that all prepared me for my what I do now, and my positivity and how I help others now. Because I know, when I understand, and it may not be exactly the same situation, but we're all human and we all go through pain, we all go through loss. And I understand that and been through that. And so I'm an ear, and for anybody who needs some help, I'm there for you.
Absolutely. You mentioned about we're all going through having our fair share of, dark times, tragedies, painful moments. Sure, at the time they hurt a lot, but then they're meant to be there for us to grow to get to the next level, next phase of our evolution. So and then these become our story, and then that story becomes our gift, and then that gift becomes then our responsibility to share it with the world. So when you were at your lowest in bedridden, what, if you look at it from a spiritual eye, what was the lesson for you to learn through that? What was that moment at your weakest trying to teach you? Because everything happens for us to learn lessons.
It's trying to teach me resilience. Definitely strength, inner strength. That even in your darkest times, you can be happy, and you can. There is happiness. Gratitude was a big one.
Yes.
And the gratitude and happiness come together in my life so much. Just basically just, at your lowest, it's not going to last forever.
Absolutely. I have seen that unfold in my life in many ways, many shapes, many forms, and those around us. Absolutely. Now, let's talk about the beautiful impact you're having on the world. Tell us what all the good things you're doing, especially the Project S.HA.P.E.
Project S.HA.P.E is my baby.
Yes.
It's a Facebook group. And
when did you start this? When did you start this group?
In my head, I started it in I'd probably say in my head, I started it around the pandemic times.
Okay.
But when it actually came to life was August of last year. So we're almost at our 1 year birthday.
Oh, that's going to be a big milestone.
So excited. I am.
Yeah. So tell us more about that beautiful project. What is it about? Who is targeting and all that good stuff?
Well, it is targeting everybody to spread happiness. It's an international platform, and we have 11 countries right now. Wow. with members that are participating. And so that right there is amazing to me, because I'm just like, when I wrote the countries down and I kind of looked around on a map, I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. So I look at what I'm doing already as successful. If I reach one person and can make them smile through either a post that I did or a post that someone else did or anything, just that space to have for that uplifting moments, that empowering one another, that connection.
Beautiful. So it's like, what is it exactly? Is it like a group where people post positive things, uplifting things to try to cheer each other? Or is there more to it?
There's a lot more to it. I mean, it's what you want to put into it. Sometimes it's just people putting pictures of fuzzy cats, or in my case, I might put a beautiful lizard because it's that just in, and because that would bring me happiness and joy. Other times it's people writing creative stories or poetry. It's I have my big thing is Feel Good Friday, and
wow.
I try to post something uplifting, an uplifting story on Feel Good Friday, and I try to pick just things from the news from all over the place, and just different things. Sometimes it's videos, sometimes it's news things or articles, things like that. But it's also a place to go when you're not happy, and to express that feeling, because it's not always unicorns and rainbows and magic, but the magic is that you can get through it, and we're here for you. If you come and express what's going on, there's always somebody who will say, sorry to hear that, or
Mhm.
here's a smile and a hug for you. So
Beautiful.
the connection's a big thing.
How big is the group?
Right now we are 195 people. My goal, because I'm looking for a birthday present, is 500 at
Ooh.
least by our first birthday in August. So that's what I'm striving for.
And what are you doing to grow it on a day-to-day basis?
Well, first of all, a big thing right now is with the launch of our book. That's a big help, because my chapter is dedicated to how I created the group, the process, how I got into S.H.A.P.E,
Oh,
and
wow.
um, the basis of it is a metaphor between how getting into shape, happiness shape, is very similar to getting into physical shape, and the twists and turns that are involved. And so the book is a big factor on how I'm, promoting the group. I'm also just with anybody that I encounter that seems to be interested or seems to be a candidate, I guess you could say, or somebody that wants to join. I will say, hey, I got this group. You want to check us out? It's just word of mouth.
So it's basically okay. So now share with us an example of the most remarkable transformation or most inspiring story that was posted within your community so far.
Oh my goodness. Ooh. One of the things that really struck me, and I have recently posted, it was a two-part series on the Feel Good Friday. There was a couple who had just gotten married, and outside of their church, there was a homeless man, and he was sitting there, and the couple was they were giving out cake at their church instead of the actual reception, because people couldn't make it. Well, they went and cut some cake and brought it over to the homeless man and started talking to him. And so the first article goes into that whole dynamic, and then the second follow-up was when they actually reunite after the wedding sometime later, and they share their stories and how each impacted one another. And it was a heartfelt thing for me. I really enjoyed that one.
Absolutely. You can see that how beautiful that is. That's awesome. Good for her. Now, tell us about your book. That's
Oh,
exciting.
What can I say? Ah, man, first of all, these authors, especially you, my friend, uh,
Oh,
are
thank you.
amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
The people, the book has brought so many amazing people into my life. And the connections that we've made so far are just beautiful. And I love that. And I'm looking forward to all of these stories and um, the inspiration and the hope that all these stories are going to bring. And with Project Shape, or my story, I very much am hoping to get awareness, obviously, of my group, but also to kind of show how um, happiness is not just a switch you turn on. It's something that you work at,
Totally.
and it's not just a one and done kind of thing. Once you're there, like, okay, I've created my Shape website, that's it. It's not like that. You got to work at it, and you have happy muscles, just like you have your physical muscles to get you into shape, physically. And the more you work those happy muscles, the more you can find happiness, just like the more you work your physical muscles, the more you find physical fitness.
Totally makes sense. Wow. So, how challenging was it for you when it came time to actually? Because as an author would be, there's nothing worse than you staring at this blank screen and the cursor blinking. So when you're sitting in front of your computer typing it, were you stressed or it just came very naturally?
Well, first of all, I'm old school. I got to write on paper before
Oh,
I
even
go.
better. Okay, okay, that's good.
And it just flowed. It really did. I was amazed. And the way I write when inspiration hits. And there were times I would wake up in bed and be like, oh my goodness, I need to sit and write for a little while. And I'd sit, half hour, an hour, and write things down.
That's the
So it
best
it
way.
just it just flowed, and I was so grateful, because that's how I know that it's the right time to tell this story.
Absolutely, because inspiration sometimes comes, and not sometimes, always comes in the least expected way. Like, for example, you're cooking, you're having dinner, whatever, talking with friends. That's how I got the idea for my podcast, Academy. And even right now, when just listening to you, just an idea right now, I know I can't pose this right now. I just took a note. And what I'm saying is that the best ideas is something, sometimes most of the time, they come when you least expect them. Like, for example, 2 o'clock in the morning, you're sleeping. And when that happens, don't suppress it, embrace it, because this is a divine communication that's arriving to us, being transmitted to us.
Totally agree. I'm like, okay, I can sleep later. you know, I can
Exactly.
if I write a couple hours, or if I write an hour here, I can sleep an hour later or whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful.
And yeah.
So, what has been your experience so far with this multi-authored book so far?
Well, like I said, the meeting everybody. We've had face-to-face get-togethers, and that's been so much fun. I love hearing everybody posted, or not everybody, but many people posted their chapters for us to read. I loved that idea, but I want to be surprised, so I didn't, because I want to experience our book like our readers that first time. Oh my goodness, I love these inspirational stories. So I'm going to be very surprised at everybody else. I just know my chapter. So
Beautiful. Yeah, I haven't, me myself as well. I haven't shared the whole chapter, but I put an excerpt on it, a little part of it. But yeah, no, I want people to see it with the actual book. You know, especially
I'm
me.
the
I'm
same
old
way.
school. I like to have the physical book in my hands, even though I have a Kindle, but I'm not a fan of the Kindle device, a Kindle fan of Kindle books, because it's not the same to me.
I like having that book in my hand too. I
Yeah,
totally get it.
Absolutely. Awesome. Now, let's move forward. Now, let me ask you a series of rapid fire questions on advices. Ready?
Ooh, all right.
What's the best piece of advice you've received so far in your life?
Oh, wow. Um, go with the flow.
Agreed. And what has been so far the worst piece of advice you received other than get a job?
Yeah. Um, color in the lines.
What do you mean by that?
You know, like when you have a picture
Okay.
and crayons and they say stay in the lines.
Oh,
I don't
yes.
like
Just
it's,
follow the
you know,
script.
yeah.
Oh, I don't like that neither. Yes, agreed. Now, imagine that you were blessed with a time machine and you can go back in time. You are now sitting face to face with an 18-year-old Amanda. What's the number one piece of advice you would give to her knowing all that you know now?
Keep going because you got a lot ahead of you, girl. Smile.
Oh, yes. Smile, smile, smile. Yes. Now, I know you don't have your podcast, but imagine you had your podcast today, very successful. And today you're interviewing the most special person in the world, which is yourself. What's the first question you want to ask yourself? Don't think too much. What's the first question that comes to your mind?
Why happiness?
And you answer?
Because it's everywhere.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Now, my favorite question. What's the smallest thing you've done that has had the greatest positive impact in both your life and business? And by small, I don't mean something small. I mean the one thing you've done. For me, for example, has been starting my podcast. What about you, Amanda?
Saying yes to sacred surrender.
Really? Wow, that's powerful. Beautiful. Now, what would you say is a cause that you're deeply passionate about?
Oh wow. Definitely the environment. And definitely anything to help people. People are my cause.
Love that. If someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
Right now, Facebook. The Project S.HA.P.E website is a little long as far as the links concerned. So if you look my name up, or if you look up Project S.HA.P.E with the dots in the S, like S.H.A.P.E. Yeah, there we go. That's probably the best way. I also have an author email, and it is Amanda Lindsey. I'm just getting it. So Amanda Lindsey at amanda-lindsey-author.com.
All right. We'll put that in the show notes. So don't worry if you didn't catch it. We'll
Yeah.
put it in the show notes and all that. So don't worry. Listen, Amanda, absolute pleasure, honor, blast talking to you. Really powerful story. And can't wait till I can actually read your chapter on the book next week when I honestly I can't wait till I can actually have the physical book in my hand. This is when it's gonna become really, really concrete for me because the Kindle and all that. Yeah, that's nice. Because I'm just like you, I'm old school. I'd like to have the book in my hands, you know.
Oh, I know. It's gonna be real. I'm gonna be like, get a picture of me with the book.
Oh yes, plenty of pictures. That's for sure. We'll take plenty of pictures. So listen, Amanda, I salute you. You're truly with a heart. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world with your presence, with your impact, with your smile, with everything you're doing, all your impact. I really love the project shape. That's beautiful, and your tagline of chronically joyful and a lover of doing good. I'm sorry, I'm butchering it, but something along those lines. So keep doing it. Stay safe. Stay awesome. God bless you. I can't wait till I can get our book in our hands. So I salute you. Have a fantabulous day ahead of you. Take care.
Hugs and smiles.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.